Now that Chainsaw Man's over, I know people are looking for a series to fill the Pochita-shaped hole in their heart, so I'd like to draw your attention to an ongoing work by one of Fujimoto's former assistants, and that is Hell's Paradise by Yuji Kaku. And I mean it when I say it's a more fantasy-based version of Annihilation set in the Edo period. But before I dive into what makes this dark fantasy so awesome and unique, let's first go over a brief plot summary so we're all on the same page here. The story opens up with a rogue ninja named Gabimaru who just won't die. He's immortal, so his executioner strikes him a bargain. If he joins an expedition team to the island of Shinsenkyo and manages to procure an elixir of immortality, he'll be pardoned and he can return home to his beloved wife. However, the team he's sent with are also a bunch of criminals, and the island has secrets of its own to guard, and anyone who steps foot on it does not come back the same. They're transformed. All in all, the story presents this battle royale survival thriller where anyone might stab you in the back, and the environment itself is brutally unforgiving. Even the butterflies are deadly. Essentially, anyone who steps foot on the island must learn how to adapt to their new environment or die, and characters are pushed to their limits and must decide what they're willing to do to survive, even if it costs them their humanity. I guess one of the things that jumps out most to me about this manga is how well crafted its world building and philosophical themes are. Everything from the monster designs to the magic system are heavily rooted in Chinese mythology, Taoism, and Buddhism. For instance, the realm of Shinsenkyo and the concept of the elixir of life both stem from Chinese mythology. So if you're a nerd like me, it's cool to see and learn from all the different religious and mythological references scattered throughout this story. Okay, next I've got to talk about the monster designs. Really, aside from Berserk or Claymore, I gotta say Hell's Paradise really has some of the coolest monster designs I've ever seen in manga. They're awe-inspiring and at times equal parts terrifying and beautiful. I honestly really would love to have an entire art book for this series because Kaku manages to paint this richly imaginative world that I just find myself wanting to get lost and immersed in. And I know I'm biased here, but I think I love Kaku's art style because in part it reminds me a little bit of Ishida Sui's, just with his use of color and kind of loose, chaotic brushstrokes. Kaku also does an incredible job at using his art to depict characters' inner mental state. The manga is filled with amazing visual allegory depicting characters struggling with their own sadness, guilt, or sanity. I'm going to be honest here, this is a much more psychologically driven series than I initially expected. I didn't know we were going to get this deep. At first I thought we're going to get a series that's all action and pretty artwork, but hollow on the inside, kind of along the lines of Platinum End. But I was actually pleasantly surprised by how hard of an emotional impact the panels had. We see Gabimaru compelled by his desire to see his wife, and on the other hand, there's his executioner Sagiri, who's haunted by her duty and all the lives she's taken. And even though they start off constantly at each other's throats, it's interesting to see their relationship grow over time. Ultimately, if you're looking for a dark fantasy that takes you on a surreal journey and fills you with wonder with every page, I definitely recommend giving Hell's Paradise a try. It's one hell of a ride.